Alright, boys and girls, we got our very first video here against Halo15freak, and I'm pretty sure that there's going to be more in the future. So, he starts out with his, oh good lord, I keep on forgetting names, and I have one too. I named it Spida, and I believe it is a Galvantula. So I lead off with that, and what happens is, yeah, he goes off for the Volt Swish, and that's pretty much why he sent it out first. I go for the Thunder because I know it'll inflict massive damage to that thing, because this thing is choice spec, so anything it does will do a lot unless it resists, like times 4. So he sends out this thing, which is his Japanese sock. There we go. They have such stupid names. 1 second, if you'll excuse me. Yes, everyone, call me back. So I go for my Pringles. This thing has saved me numerous times before. I was thinking he'd go for the close combat, but instead he goes for the Rock Slide, which I should have expected in any case. So he goes into his Porygon 2, which I hate. I literally want to kill this thing with my bare hands. Alright, but I switch. He gets the Cursed Body thing. I only switch into my Garchomp to make him think that to get a safe switch on my Politoed. But of course, he gets lucky. Even though there's a 1/3 chance that this will work, the Cursed Body, which he traced from my my Jellicent, happens to work, and I really hate Trace at this point because it's impossible to use a Heatran against this thing when it gets a stab attack like Fire Blast Under the Sun, because it copies your Flash Fire, and I swear this makes me want to rage quit on life. It's so annoying. But anyways, I go back into my Galvantula, not expecting what he'd do. He goes for the Recover, and of course he gets lucky again with another Cursed Body. So what happens is, of course, I go for the Thunder just to see how much I can get off. I wasn't expecting more than the Politoed's Hydro Pump, because under the sun, under the rain, it gets more powerful by 0.5. So at this point, I'm just going to explain to you a little bit what happens here. What happens next is going to be a little bit easy to understand why I did so and so thing. But either way, I'll just explain what's going on here. First off, I'd just like to say I expected that Recover to get a safe switch on my Breloom, which will not sweep in this video, but it will successfully get the Spore off on his Galvantula, which is good because it can, in any chance, do a lot of damage to my team. Also with his Dragonite, which will be coming out a little bit later. So anyways, I told Halo that I didn't want to use the stupid Smogon rules. So I said I want to use my rules. And it looks like to him it wasn't it didn't make enough sense to him. So what happened was, I brought in a Drizzle Swift Swim, only one, and Politoed is practically useless. So it was kind of like me going into the battle with 5 Pokemon, and one as a decoy. But either way, it wasn't really going to do much anyways in the battle. But thank God I switched my Breloom out here. But anyways, as I was saying, so yeah, I said no legendaries. That was the one rule. So by mistake, I brought a Suicune into the battle at first, but I disconnected the second I started. And you know what? I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get some comments saying, "Oh, blah blah blah, you saw my team," so on and so forth. But I switched the Jellicent with the Suicune with my Jellicent. So either way, there wasn't really much differences there. And in fact, I like Suicune more because it is much bulkier than Jellicent. So I wanted him to get rid of that Lumberry because I have 1 or 2 status afflictions which I can use on my team, which would be really useful to kill that thing, because that thing is going to be really, really annoying. And a little bit later, you'll see why it gets even harder to kill a little while on. Of course, after the battle, there was a lot of not taunts, but tempers flared, you could say. And I admit, I guess I wasn't too descriptive of my rules, but again, if he had asked, am I allowed to use certain thing, I would have said yes. And either way, I used one Swift Swim Pokemon, to be fair. And if you ask me, I really don't understand why Garchomp is Uber. They say it's all bulky and whatnot, but in retrospect, it isn't really. It may have, like, from non-max, maybe 31 IVs, maybe has, like, 50 HP more than Latias or something like that. But Latias is really, really bulky, and I really love that thing. I don't even know why I'm not using it. I will be soon, for sure. So I also let him kill my my thing, not all out of pity, but mostly because you know, I thought that it wouldn't really make too much of a difference. And I actually might have been able to kill it with Focus Blast, even though I got the stab on that last move. I was actually quite wary about how much damage I would do here, and I actually get to kill the Kingdra, which would again cause some problems for me. So I really wasn't expecting much here. Actually I was expecting the extreme speed because he's used it before, and I always forget he has extreme speed, that I don't switch out. But thank goodness I remembered here. Oh yeah, as a matter of fact, I was taking a bath while doing this battle, which is weird. Yeah, so he goes out to his Porygon 2. I go for the Scald, hoping I can get some burn hacks. So yeah, I don't burn his Porygon 2, but even better, I get off the... I was actually expecting him to go for the Thunder, the Discharge here, and then, for example, me to switch out into my Garchomp, and then, but he thought I would switch out automatically, because I was scared of his Porygon 2. But this is the thing. I noticed that the one counter for Porygons are attacks that deplete their HP every single turn, and that literally can destroy a Porygon because since it has Evolite, or you could switch choice switch with the Evolite. That's really the only reason why Porygon is used more now. I actually used it last gen because it was actually pretty good. It could take a hit or two, and it could deal one back because mine was special attack HP. So I would Thunder Wave them and then kill them the next turn or recover, depending on the circumstances. But of course, Machamp destroys Porygon 2 in that sense. Anyways, I go for the Scald here, and I was hoping so hard that I would get the burn hacks. Literally, I was down on my knees in the bathtub to get the burn hacks. But either way, I get the burn hacks, and I didn't know what he would go. I thought he would go for the Dragon Dance, but I wasn't sure. So this is really what I do with my Jellicent. I stall them to death. Because I have Toxic and Scald, both moves either do give them a status problem or afflict them with a status problem. I recover, and then I go for a Protect, which will further stall him. And I was actually not thinking of putting Jellicent into my team and picking Conkeldurr and switching Breloom with a Steel type, like Metagross. But again, I wasn't too sure, so what can I say? Sorry on there if I sounded weird. At this point, I really didn't care if he hit my Jellicent or not. But if it wasn't for that confusion hitting himself, I actually would not have won this battle. Well, I might have, but It wasn't 100%. So anyways, I scald him, and he protects with his speed boost Sharpedo or Sharpedo. I'd actually nickname mine Sharpedophile. I don't know why. It's supposed to be Torpedo. Like torpedo, of course. Curse Body works finally. Crunch gets disabled. He loses some HP from Life Orb, and I Scald. And this thing has horrible defenses. I mean, horrible. They are laughable, really. And I actually get half of his... Oh my god, voice crack. Half of his HP down. And his Sharpedo or Sharpedo, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so he has no choice. I don't know. I thought he had Earthquake. I usually choose Earthquake over Crunch, but either way. And at this point, I remember I wanted to get enough HP to resist that waterfall and use a recover. But I was forgetting that it was under the rain, so that would do 0.5 more, which would obviously kill my Jellicent. And of course, my Jellicent isn't too specially defense trained. Well, it has a lot of EVs in in defense, but it's specially defense based. And overall, it's actually really, really good for withstanding a lot of the opposing competition, I guess. So he switches to Porygon 2, and I will 2KO this thing. Just ahead of hand, I had Technician on this Breloom. And truthfully, I actually thought it was released. I got it from someone on Cerebi, and it was actually a while later that I found out that that there was a list which said the Dream World. I didn't really understand how that worked because I started playing the metagame back when it first came out, and I got really good. And back then, all of the Pokemon there, like not a lot was banned. We weren't really like Smogon. Ugh, how I hate them. Weren't really sure what was good or not, and what should be banned. So they pretty much banned a lot of the best Pokemon in the metagame at this point. And what happens is, yeah, so I had a really good teams. If you guys have heard of Pokemon Online, I ranked pretty high up, 10th or 12th. And my thing was the one they call N. But yeah, as I said, I was actually just beginning on the server. I bet he was probably thinking that he could withstand an earthquake, but seriously, what are you thinking, man? This thing, most Garchomps are banded. So, and he was going to use the close combat anyways, and this thing was banded either way. So I get the Stab Earthquake. He might have forgot that. I don't think so, but I have a Stab Earthquake, so that's still going to do a lot. And this thing isn't as bulky as Throw, so obviously it isn't going to withstand things as better. So we're almost finished this game. And a long one at that, and I'm sorry for not speeding it up, but what can I say? He 2KOs my Garchomp, and see, this is why I say it's not Uber, because it isn't. Like, if it can get 2KO by something like that, what makes it so Uber? So anyways, I'm on my last Pokemon I'm gonna go for a Mach Punch. I'm going to kill it. Of course, after the game, I received a lot of hate from the same person, but he's a good guy, and I don't blame him, and that was a good game.